Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
A car and a train collide. This is a live look at the scene in North Elizabeth Street in Durham. New information we are learning from police. And a robbery and a shooting. Durham police are investigating an armed robbery at an auto shop. What they're saying about a man who was shot.
And our big weather maker this morning is the wind. It's making it feel really chilly. I'll show you what it will feel like as you head out the door.
And Cooper on the court. Duke star basketball player Cooper Flagg was seen preparing for Duke's round one NCAA matchup. What fans are looking forward to ahead of today's game at the Lenovo Center. March Madness about to tip off in Raleigh in just a few hours at the Lenovo Center for that opening round. A lot to tell you about here on this Friday morning. We're glad you're with us. I'm Renee Chu. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner and a look at the beautiful sky out there, but temperatures are feeling chilly and very windy out there.
Yeah, the wind is really the big thing that we're dealing with this morning. We take a live look at Durham. Looks beautiful. Lots of sunshine out there, but it's 45 degrees. We have a strong wind out of the northwest at 8 miles per hour. We've been gusting up to 20, 25. That's going to keep our temperatures cool all day long. Currently, temperatures are in the low to mid 40s all across the viewing area, and the wind gusts have died down a touch just for the moment. We're gusting to around 20 in Rocky Mount, but I would expect those winds to continue to be pretty gusty for us at least through lunchtime. Into the afternoon, we may see those numbers dropping off just a little bit. Hour by hour, it's likely to be closer to lunchtime before we hit the 50s, and then highs will be in the low 60s this afternoon. I'll show you what will bring us 10 degrees warmer temperatures for tomorrow coming up.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Before we get to traffic, just want to update that incident that happened on the side of 40 and near the Carytown Boulevard exit. That scene has cleared, so we are continuing to follow that breaking news, figure out exactly what happened there. There were a number of police officers on scene, so we will get that update for you in just a couple of minutes. But taking a look at your traffic this morning, tracking quite a bit of backups and delays this morning. This is a live look, I-440 at New Bern Avenue. This is all leading to a crash further up on the Beltline at the Capitol Boulevard exit. One right lane is blocked because of a crash there. That crash is still there. Working to learn more details about that. Elsewhere around the area, you can see some pretty heavy delays on 40 there, 40 westbound. Other traffic incidents, I am following MLK Boulevard near Pool Road. They are saying that is quite a serious accident. Nightdale Boulevard at Smithfield Road, that is also another serious accident. So, of course, I'm going to stay on top of all of these incidents for you. Kelsey Coffey up in Durham after a car crashed with a train. Kelsey, what do we know about this?
Michelle, new information from Durham police in the last 15 minutes. They say that a driver was trying to speed past that train as it was backing up. So now you can take a look at what's left of this scene here. Just a few police vehicles here, but we'll give you a look now at some video from the WRAL breaking news tracker right after that crash happened. So you can take a closer look at that damage. So you can see how the back of the train hit the driver's side door and shattered the window. This happened on North Elizabeth Street near East Main Street. The car was towed away about 30 minutes ago. Now, as far as a traffic impact with this, if this area is a part of your morning commute, you really don't have too much to worry about. But police say that driver was taken to the hospital and they're expected to be okay. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
More breaking news. We're keeping it in Durham. Police say a man was shot during an armed robbery. This happened at an auto shop on Hillsborough Road, Mavis Auto Shop, just after 2 o'clock this morning. Officers appear to focus their investigation on the front office. The shooting is still under investigation. Police say the man who was shot is expected to recover. Also breaking news, a man is in the hospital after he was shot in the chest this morning in Raleigh. Police tell us they're still trying to figure out where this shooting happened. They did tell us the man is in stable condition and he was taken to Wake Med Trauma for treatment. We have a traffic alert for drivers on I-40. Part of Airport Boulevard will be closing tonight through the weekend. It's to prepare for the opening of a new diverging diamond. Work will begin tonight at 10. Detours are in place for northbound and southbound traffic on Airport Boulevard. RDU traffic should use Aviation Parkway as an alternate route. The road should reopen Monday at 5 a.m. President Trump signed an executive order to begin dismantling the U.S. Department of Education. Entirely shuttering the department requires an act of Congress. Trump has directed Education Secretary Linda McMahon to take steps toward the closure. The administration says the critical programs will be protected, including Pell Grants, student loans, and some civil rights laws. Last year, changes to the financial aid application made the process longer for families to learn how much financial aid they would get. WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst says this is something we will need to watch as this transition takes place.
We're going to have to see how at the federal level they can start processing through these applications and administering this program this year and also down the road with a very different staffing level.
WRAL's Destiny Patterson looked at how much federal funding the UNC system receives and the impact this could have on schools in our area. Watch her report on WRAL.com. Wake County Public Schools released a statement in response to the president's executive order. The school system says, quote, "These funds are not optional. They are essential, and there are no local resources that can replace them." The district goes on to say shifting responsibility from one federal agency to another could create bureaucratic delays, uncertainty, and gaps in services. Today, Lenovo Center will host some of the biggest teams in college basketball. 4 first-round NCAA tournament games will be played there today, including Duke's opening game. WRAL's Eric Miller is live outside the Lenovo Center this morning. And Eric, no doubt the Lenovo Center will see quite a number of fans with the shade of blue.
Quite a few of those fans, Renee, and things are already getting busy out here. You see the last 30 minutes, we've started to see the crews coming in, getting things set up here. The fan zone right out front under this big tent opens at 10 this morning. Doors to the Lenovo Center open at 10:45, and that's before we get to any of those basketball games. And there's probably no matchup more anticipated for Triangle fans than Duke coming up at 2:50 this afternoon. Those Blue Devils got a chance to get out on the court yesterday evening. You take a look at this video here. You can see those players out running around the stands, packed with fans, eager for a chance to see those ACC champions in action. But there was one player in particular they were particularly excited to see. Take a listen.
I am here watching Cooper Flag play on the court.
So he's 3 years old. He loves Cooper Flag, don't you, buddy? Yeah, it's his favorite.
Oh, yeah, he thought he was coming to see LeBron James, so I had to break it to him that he's not here. But we can at least see Cooper Flag, who should be playing against LeBron James soon.
Cooper Flag, the man himself, back in action, coming off that injury. Of course, he was injured in that game with Georgia Tech several weeks ago, had to miss out on the end of the ACC tournament. Yesterday, he was out there playing, no sign of any kind of brace or any kind of tape on that injured ankle. Instead, Flag says that he is back to 100%. Fans very excited to see him and the rest of this Blue Devils team at the tip-off here at 2:50 this afternoon. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Now to that other shade of blue, UNC is looking to move on to the round of 32 today. The 11th-seeded Tar Heels will play 6th-seed Ole Miss in a South Region matchup today. That game will be in Milwaukee, and tip-off is scheduled for 4:05. The winner of that game will play the winner of the game between Iowa State and Lipscomb University. The Duke women will be on the court today for their first-round game in the tournament. They are a 2-seed. They're hosting 15th-seed Lehigh tonight at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Tip-off is at 8. Now, before that, Vanderbilt will play Oregon at 5:30. And the winners of those games will play each other on Sunday. Parents at 2 Wake County schools are learning of inappropriate videos being circulated among students. Experts say this is a reminder to talk to your kids about the dangers of sending explicit videos and texts. But any parent knows it is not an easy conversation. This week, Cary police learned of a pornographic incident involving students at Panther Creek High School. Another pornographic video involving students at Carroll Magnet Middle School has circulated among the kids there. WRAL spoke with John Van Arnhem. He's the founder of The Third Talk, which helps parents learn how to talk to their kids about online pornography. He says parents need to educate, communicate with, and monitor their kids.
We're not going to be able to put the toothpaste back in the tube with phones and with social media. So what it really comes down to is a child's knowledge and understanding and the ability to guide themselves through this process.
Wake County Schools told us they are taking appropriate disciplinary actions involving the situation at Carroll Magnet Middle School. A spokesperson did not elaborate on what those actions are. The search for a 7-year-old boy who disappeared in the Tar River will resume this morning. Crews have been using cadaver dogs in their search. The boy fell into the river Monday afternoon and never resurfaced. Rescuers have also been using boats and drones to try to find him. Preventing measles spread. Health officials are trying to contain the measles outbreak in the Southwest. There are concerns about spring break travel leading to more cases. And brackets busted. If your NCAA bracket is already toast, you are in good company. A look at how many perfect predictions remain just ahead.
And our big weather maker this morning is the wind, making it feel really chilly. I'll show you why. Temperatures will warm up nicely tomorrow.
Welcome back. What a beautiful start to our Friday morning as we look live in downtown Raleigh, Fayetteville Street. And in the distance there, you can see the beautiful acorn that, of course, was the star of First Night Raleigh and then now just lives out there for much of the time. You can watch WRAL News available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. A lot of sunshine out there, but our temperatures are going to stay on the cooler side, and that's because all of the wind's out there.
Our wind's coming out of the northwest, and so that is pushing the cool air in. It's making it feel chilly, but it also just is delivering some cold air for us this morning. We take a live look at Fayetteville and Raleigh, Apex and Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill's courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant, and all's quiet out there. We had our cold front move through yesterday. Not a ton of rain with that. It definitely reversed our wind to northwesterly. That's typically what happens after a cold front. Our high pressure system with winds that rotate clockwise also helping to feed in some cooler air, but as it slides eastward, we'll see what happens on the back edge of that high, which is a southerly flow, and that starts our warm up as early as tomorrow. So we have the green light on for the weekend. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, look sunny and mild. High temperatures will be in the low 70s, and it shouldn't be quite as breezy. Still a little bit breezy maybe for Saturday, but wind should quiet down on Sunday. And then our next big weather maker comes in on Monday. Another front, this one very similar to what we saw yesterday. Not a ton of rain with that. A very small chance for thunderstorms. It moves on through, and it will drop our temperature a little bit again behind that for, say, Tuesday and Wednesday. Checking out the rainfall totals out of this for Monday. Not very much. This version of Futurecast is showing only about 1/100 of an inch. Probably going to have maybe 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch. That's still very, very little rain. And of course, we didn't get a whole lot of rain out of that system yesterday. But if you remember last Sunday, we did have some heavy rain just here in a pocket that was north and east of the triangle. And that's where we've seen conditions returning to normal. Abnormally dry there in the yellow, and then moderate drought in some of our eastern and southwestern counties. Let's look at our drought status. We definitely could use some rain. Monday doesn't look like it's really going to deliver it, but again, behind the front, it's a little bit cooler. Temperatures are actually not too far from normal. Coming up, we're going to talk more about how close to normal these temperatures are.
Thanks, Elizabeth. It has been a very busy morning traffic-wise. As you take a live look, I-40 at Aviation Parkway, you can see a lot of cars on the road this morning for your Friday. We are tracking a number of crashes still. You can see all the yellow icons here on the map. This one just popped up here. This is US 70 near Leesville Road. There is quite a bit of backup from that one, so I'm going to see if I can get more eyes on that and figure out what's going on there. Another crash we are also monitoring here. This is 440 near the Six Forks Road exit. I do have a look here. Let's see. I had a look at I-440 at New Bern Avenue. Of course, this is I-440 heading westbound towards Six Forks Road. So you might notice a couple of delays because of that crash. Looking back at the map, other crashes, we are also monitoring MLK Boulevard near Pool Road, hearing that is a pretty serious crash. Nightdale Boulevard at Smithfield Road, also seeing some backups because of a serious crash there. I'm going to keep an eye on all of these incidents and be back in about 10 minutes with more.
Michelle, thank you. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced federal charges against 3 people accused of using Molotov cocktails to set fire to Tesla cars and Tesla charging stations. Investigators say images show one of the suspects in Salem, Oregon, carrying an AR-15 style rifle while throwing an ignited device into a showroom. The Tesla Center says it led to about $500,000 in damages. Two others in Colorado and South Carolina are also facing charges. The attacks are part of a growing movement to target Tesla as a form of protest against CEO Elon Musk and his role in the Trump administration. A Republican Minnesota state senator has resigned under fire after he was charged with soliciting a minor for prostitution. Justin Eichhorn stepped down before the Senate could vote on whether to expel him. Eichhorn is charged with attempted coercion or enticement of a minor. Prosecutors say he answered an online ad that was part of a police operation targeting sex trafficking of minors. Eichhorn was released from jail yesterday, but according to court records, he will remain in federal custody until the final disposition of charges. Communities predominantly in the Southwest are trying to prevent the spread of measles. This as the spring break travel season starts to ramp up. Sean Langley shares the precautions health experts are recommending for your next trip.
The ongoing measles outbreak across portions of the country is triggering more warnings about just how contagious the disease can be.
It's so contagious, it can stay in the air for a couple of hours after you've left the room. So if you have unvaccinated people in a room with someone with measles, 9 out of 10 unprotected people can actually develop measles from that exposure.
According to the most recent data from the CDC as of March 13th, there have been more than 300 confirmed measles cases nationwide. Most reported cases have come out of Texas.
We actually considered measles to be eliminated here in the U.S. back in 2000, but we are seeing cases now partly because of international travel in areas where measles does pop up more often, and sometimes here in unvaccinated populations like what we've seen in Texas.
But concerns remain over the potential for cases to keep climbing, just like planes taking off as spring break season presses on. Health experts recommend not traveling to areas with measles outbreaks and say vaccination is the best form of prevention. This especially if you're on the go and in crowded public spaces like airplanes and airports. That's in part because people with measles often don't know they have it for a while.
You can be contagious before you even have your own symptoms.
Meanwhile, parents with infants who like to travel should check in with their child's doctors about their vaccine status beforehand.
You don't get your first dose until you're usually about 12 months. If you have any international travel planned, again, you can get babies immunized starting at 6 months. So talk with your pediatrician.
Today, Johnson & Johnson will break ground on a new manufacturing campus in Wilson. The $2 billion biologics facility is expected to employ 420 people once it's fully operational. Johnson & Johnson says it will also bring education partnerships in the community. Governor Josh Stein is expected to attend the groundbreaking. It's happening at 11 this morning. And a potential major breakthrough for Alzheimer's treatment. For the first time, scientists say evidence shows removing sticky protein plaque years before symptoms appear could postpone the disease. In a study, patients were treated with injections of an antibody drug every 2 weeks. Researchers say this experimental treatment clears the brain of those sticky proteins known as amyloids, a key indicator of Alzheimer's. Unlike other treatments, this one starts that process years before symptoms appear.
They are given years of dementia-free life where they're not having any symptoms. They're living normally. They're cognitively normal.
Scientists say they want to determine how strong the protection is, but their meetings to review grant funding from the National Institutes of Health have already been canceled twice. This comes as the agency faces funding restrictions and layoffs. Today, Shaw University will celebrate the achievements of its athletic teams. The university will host a parade of champions today. It will honor Shaw women's tennis, soccer, and volleyball teams. The city of Raleigh will proclaim the day Shaw University Athletics Day. It all gets started at 11 this morning at Spalding Gym on campus. The Duke women will be on the court tonight for their first round game in the NCAA tournament. They're hosting 15-seed Lehigh at Cameron Indoor. And ahead of the game, WRAL's Lena Tillett met with Duke head coach Kara Lawson for a one-on-one interview. She describes the secret to her team's success: unselfish players.
To find a group that is genuinely excited when good things happen or someone has a good game is special. And I think that just speaks to the character of the young women in our locker room.
For sitting down with me.
You can see more of Lena's interview with Coach Lawson tonight at 5:55 on WRAL. You may think your NCAA bracket is already busted, but don't fret. Almost everyone got at least one game wrong on the first day. According to the NCAA, less than 0.1% of brackets filled out on its website are still perfect. On ESPN, that's almost 26,000. Still perfect out of 24 million that were filled out. And that works out to only about 1/1000%. Those are the ones that picked McNeese to upset Clemson. Amazing. Today, a bridge in Robeson County is being dedicated in honor of a fallen state trooper. The NC 130 bridge over I-95 will be dedicated as the Patrolman James H. Marshburn Bridge. He was shot and killed along I-95 in September 1964. The ceremony's at 1.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It is 8:26. I'm Renee Chu. We are kicking off our Friday with a lot of sunshine. Elizabeth explains why that really won't warm our temperatures all that much.
Remember that cold front that came through late yesterday, brought us just a few showers and it became breezy? Well, it's still breezy out of the northwest now, and that's bringing the cool temperatures. So we're in the mid-40s for Wilson, Durham, and Fayetteville. Lots and lots of sunshine, looking beautiful, but it's gusty in some places, up to 16 in Goldsboro, gusting to almost 20 there in Rocky Mount and Wilson. And those gusty winds out of the northwest keep us cool. We'll be in the 50s at lunchtime, and we'll climb into the low 60s for highs this afternoon.
It's a busy commute on the roads this morning. Take a look at I-40 at Barbie Road. A lot of people maybe on their way to work this morning. Not seeing any delays there right now. The crashes are improving. We are down to now just 3 crashes. One is on 440 westbound at the Six Forks Road exit. We are seeing some delays because of that. This is the 440 at New Bern Avenue camera to show you the traffic that is heading toward that crash. On Knightdale Boulevard at Smithfield Road, we are tracking a serious crash there, working to learn more information. Not seeing any backups from that one. US 70 at Leesville Road, also seeing some backups from that crash. We'll have more over on Fox 50.
Michelle, thanks. And a heads up for drivers on I-40 for later. Part of Airport Boulevard will be closing tonight through the weekend. It's to prepare for the opening of a new diverging diamond. So work will begin tonight at 10 and the road will reopen Monday at 5 a.m. Today, the State Court of Appeals will hear a case that could decide who wins a seat on the state Supreme Court. Jefferson Griffin is hoping to throw out more than 60,000 ballots cast in the November race. A trial court has already ruled the ballots should not be thrown out. And we'll have much more to come on Fox 50.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Right now on Fox 50, a serious crash on NC 42. What we know about the condition of the driver. And a man shot during a robbery. Durham police are investigating that armed robbery at an auto shop. We'll tell you how the gunshot victim is doing this morning.
And the wind is our big weather maker this morning. It's gusty and that's keeping our temperatures cool. I'll show you when the wind switches and starts to warm us up.
Plus, a weekend road closure and I-40 interchange will be shut down tonight. The construction effort to make for safer travels, and we'll tell you how to get around it. A lot to tell you about here at 8:30 on your Friday morning. A beautiful Friday. I'm Renee Chu. Let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with the sunshine out there, but windy conditions as well.
It's beautiful here in Fayetteville this morning. We're seeing these clear skies all across the viewing area, but the winds are coming out of the northwest, and that's pushing in some chilly air. Right now in the Triangle, our temperatures are in the 40s, and we're seeing 40s really everywhere, mid-40s currently. Our wind out of the northwest pushing in that cool air. We're steady at about 8 miles per hour. We've seen some gusts this morning anywhere from 15 to around 25, almost 30 miles per hour. Our temperatures really haven't budged since early this morning. We're still looking at low to mid 40s across our viewing area. and that cool air moving in. It's going to keep our temperatures down for a good bit of the day. Our current strongest gusts are over here in Goldsboro at 16 and Rocky Mount at 19, but I expect our winds to continue to be pretty breezy to blustery, at least through lunchtime. After that, those winds may begin to drop off just a little bit. Hour by hour with these northwesterly winds, we don't even hit the 50s until lunchtime. It'll be a cool afternoon with highs in the low 60s, but we'll see a big jump for the weekend. I'll show you coming up.
And we are monitoring your traffic this morning, taking a look at a very sunny drive on I-40 at Barbie Road. A lot of people out on the roadways this morning. We have seen a number of crashes throughout the morning. That has improved. We are now down to 3 crashes, as you can see on the map here. One that is causing some pretty heavy backups is this one here, 440 westbound near the Six Forks Road exit. I've been showing you this camera here. This is 440 at the New Bern Avenue exit. So that is leading up to that Six Forks Road crash. We do know that the traffic has improved a lot, so hopefully that will continue throughout the morning. Another crash that I'm also following, US 70 at Leesville Road, causing some pretty big delays here, so I'm going to keep an eye on that and see what comes of that. Nightdale Boulevard at Smithfield Road, we are hearing that is a serious crash. I'm not seeing any backups from that one, though. Kelsey Coffey is up in Durham. She is tracking a crash between a car and a train, Kelsey.
Michelle, I was able to speak with an officer on scene about 30 minutes ago, and they were explaining that a driver was trying to speed past this intersection here while a train was backing up, and that's how that crash happened. So we'll go ahead and give you a look now at some video from the WRAL breaking news tracker so you can take a look at that damage. This happened on North Elizabeth Street near East Main Street. So you can see how the back of the train hit the driver's side door and shattered the window. So the car was towed away about an hour ago, and police say that driver is now in the hospital, but they are expected to be okay. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
More breaking news. One person is in the hospital after this crash on NC 42 near Mount Pleasant Road. This is video taken from Sky 5 just an hour ago, and you can see one car badly damaged, the windows and sunroof broken. We're working to figure out how many people were involved and what led to this crash. More breaking news. Police say a man was shot during an armed robbery in Durham. So this happened at an auto shop on Hillsborough Road just after 2 a.m. Officers appeared to focus their investigation on the front office. The shooting is under investigation. Police say the man who was shot is expected to make a recovery. We have a traffic heads up for you for drivers on I-40. So part of Airport Boulevard will be closing tonight through the weekend. This is all to prepare for the opening of a new diverging diamond. Work will begin tonight at 10. Detours are in place for northbound and southbound traffic on Airport Boulevard. RDU traffic should use Aviation Parkway as an alternate route. The road should reopen Monday at 5 a.m. I-440 East is back open this morning. It was closed for this crash. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows a car overturned near the Melbourne Road exit just before 11 last night. Raleigh police tell us there were only minor injuries, and the highway reopened just before midnight. Today, Lenovo Center plays host to some of the biggest teams in college basketball. 4 first-round NCAA tournament games will be played there today, including Duke's opening game. WRAL's Eric Miller is live outside Lenovo Center this morning. And Eric, it is always awesome when the road to the Final Four goes through Raleigh.
That's not bad. It's not a bad day out here, Renee. You can see in the last couple of minutes, those crews getting set up. They've started to fill in the name of the winners from yesterday's games here on the big bracket outside of Lenovo Center. With the question, who's going to join them today, including Duke? Are they going to make it through? Now, you talk to the Duke fans out here, they'll say they think they've got a pretty good chance. It's been a good couple of days for those Duke fans. You take a look at this video here. They got a chance to come out yesterday, see the Blue Devils out on the court, a little warm up, a little practice. Those stands packed with families really excited not only to see this team, but its star player as well. Cooper Flagg out there looking good, recovered seemingly from that ankle injury that happened several weeks ago during a game against Georgia Tech. Flagg had no signs of bandages or tape or anything and says he feels that he is going to be 100% for this afternoon's game. For those Duke fans out there, they say it was a great opportunity to make some memories. Take a listen.
Man, it's awesome. I got 3 daughters, so this is just one of them, the oldest. But it's so cool just watching her rep the colors and become a fan like I was when I was a kid.
I've always been a Duke fan, but sharing it with your kids is totally different. So it's an awesome experience.
Yeah, and there'll be more to see and experience with those kids today. The doors at the Lenovo Center, they open at 10:45. The fan zone out here, that opens at 10. The tip-off for that Duke game, that is going to be 2:50 this afternoon. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
UNC is looking to move on to the round of 32 today. The 11th-seeded Tar Heels will play 6-seed Ole Miss in a South Region matchup. That game is in Milwaukee, and tip-off is scheduled for 4:05 today. The winner of that game will play the winner of the game between Iowa State and Lipscomb University. The Duke women will be on the court today for their first-round game in the NCAA tournament. They are a 2-seed, and they're hosting 15-seed Lehigh tonight at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock. Before that, Vanderbilt plays Oregon at 5:30. The 2 winners will play each other on Sunday. We're following breaking news. The busiest airport in Europe, London's Heathrow, will be closed all day today, and this is causing disruptions to flights all around the world. The airport is closed because of an electrical substation fire nearby that caused a power outage that airport officials call significant. More than 100 flights that were in the air at the time had to fly to other airports. Heathrow says it will be closed until midnight tonight. Analysts say this could directly affect more than 140,000 passengers today. People in Durham are mourning a man who was killed after the car he was hit by a stolen car. 53-year-old Jermaine Clements died in that crash Wednesday morning. Police say the driver of a stolen car sped away from officers. The driver raced through a stoplight on Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard and then hit the car Clements was in. His friends are trying to make sense of what happened.
He was always uplifting. He was always a shoulder. It was nothing he wouldn't do for you. It's still a shock to my system that this happened and the way it happened.
Clements had been a driver for Go Durham, but he left that job because of health issues. Today, the North Carolina Court of Appeals will hear a case that could decide who wins an open seat on the state Supreme Court. As you know, that seat has been in limbo since the November election because of election challenges. Recounts found that Republican candidate Jefferson Griffin received more than 700 fewer votes than Democratic incumbent Allison Riggs. Griffin is hoping to change that result by asking the court to throw out more than 60,000 ballots cast in the November race. He argues that the state's voter database is missing information about them. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran says Griffin is focused on inconsistencies in state records.
Maybe they have a hyphenated last name and that hyphen got left out. Maybe the state government worker typing in their social security number accidentally typed a 2 instead of a 3. There are just plenty of reasons why people should and did provide this information, but it's just missing from that database.
Griffin is suing the State Board of Elections for denying his request to throw out the ballots. A trial court has already ruled that the ballots should not be thrown out. We will have a report on the hearing from our NC Capitol team later today. Be sure to look for updates on our news from 4 to 7:30 this evening on WRAL. Palestinian officials say new Israeli strikes overnight killed at least 85 people in the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Ministry of Health says that brings the total number of deaths since Tuesday to more than 600. And that includes more than 200 children and more than 100 women. The new strikes have shattered a truce that led to the release of more than 24 hostages and had brought relative calm since January. In a game that ended just after 1 this morning, the Carolina Hurricanes are in the win column again. They beat the San Jose Sharks 3-1 to get their road trip started in California. It is the 8th win in a row for the Canes. They will be back on the ice tomorrow afternoon playing the LA Kings and again Sunday in Anaheim against the Ducks. Town hall troubles. Lawmakers across the country are met with increasingly frustrated people at community events. How North Carolina's representatives are responding to these tense public meetings. And it will be cool today, but beautiful. You're looking live in Durham with all that sunshine. After the break, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will show us how warm our weekend will get. It is a fabulous looking Friday start out there as we look live in Fayetteville. Lots of sunshine, but very windy conditions there. And that's what's a little unusual, but that's all because of the cold front that moved in, Elizabeth. It's bringing us beautiful weather, but cooler weather.
It is. That wind really has made it pretty chilly out there for us. We're going to take a live look at Apex. Gorgeous blue skies here. I was hoping we might catch somebody walking down the street. Looks like we've got maybe somebody coming and going there. It's really coat weather out there, at least in my book, with the breezy conditions and temperatures in the 40s. That cooler air is just feeding that chill into the region, and it's going to be with us for a while. Here at 8:45, we've typically started to see the temperatures climb a little bit by this point in the morning, but not the case for this morning. As a matter of fact, it may be closer to lunchtime before our temperatures warm into the 50s, and we'll see low 60s this afternoon. But today is really going to feel pretty cool to us. Not much movement here on the temperatures. Our morning temps are still in the low to mid 40s, and Cary is 43, and Apex, where we just saw 43 as well, 43 in Garner, 43 in Nightdale. So again, pretty much everybody sitting in the low to mid 40s this morning. The winds have been gusty this morning too. We were gusting just a little while ago up to around 25 in the Triangle. I'm gusting to 17 in Goldsboro, 19 in Rocky Mount. The gusts change, of course. You know, it's gusty for a while and then the wind settles down and it gusts some more. We're not likely to really see those winds tapering off until maybe mid to late afternoon, so it stays fairly breezy. Our wind is coming out of the northwest right now after yesterday's front, and of course that northwesterly wind brings the chill along with it. We'll see high pressure moving closer to us, and that starts to reverse the wind. Look at this back to the west around Knoxville. You can see that southwesterly wind, and the arrows are turning red. We see that this evening, and so by the time we wake up on Saturday morning, we're going to see much warmer temperatures, especially through the afternoon and evening. Because of the breezy conditions today, we have high fire danger again from the Triangle area westward, so no outdoor burning again, and our tree pollen is high, and it's going to stay that way for months. The pine pollen will start to get really messy for us probably in the Triangle in the next week or so. We're starting to see some of it down in our southern counties already. 63 in Raleigh and Durham this afternoon, and 64 there in Fayetteville. 63 today is close to our normal high, 64, and we'll add about 10 degrees to that tomorrow. So the weekend looks beautiful. If you're headed to the Courage season opener, game time temperature at 68 degrees, so feeling good. Our next weather maker is Monday's rain. Not likely to see a whole lot of it, but we'll take a closer look at it coming up in our 9 o'clock hour.
Elizabeth, thanks. A man was injured in a drive-by shooting in the Oxford Manor neighborhood in Durham. It happened around 11 yesterday morning on Wigan Street. Police say someone drove up and shot at a parked car. A person in that car was injured by shattered glass. The shooter drove away. Police say after that shooting, two men at the scene began arguing. One of the men was shot. The other was taken into custody. Speed may have been a factor in last month's Delta Airlines crash in Toronto. According to a preliminary report from Canada's Transportation Safety Board, a warning system went off as the plane was coming in for the landing, indicating excessive speed on descent. The plane flipped over on the runway, injuring 23 people. The preliminary report also found the crew was experienced, with the captain having more than 3,500 flight hours. A statewide burn ban that was issued goes into effect at 8 this morning. The North Carolina Forest Service says no open burning will be allowed. Officials say this is to reduce the risk of wildfires because of dry conditions. This ban is regardless of any permits previously issued. You could face a fine if you violate it. TikTok is now set to show Amber Alerts on its app. The app will start pushing notifications of missing children in your area to the For You feeds. The feature is being launched in partnership with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. TikTok says the feature was tested in Texas last year. Those Amber Alerts were viewed more than 20 million times. Today, Senator Thom Tillis has a fundraising event that he's expected to attend. This comes after he was a no-show to a town hall where hundreds of people voiced their frustration about cuts to the federal government. Organizers of this town hall last night in Cary say they invited Senator Thom Tillis, but he did not come. He has previously said he wouldn't be attending town halls because of safety threats his office has received. Speakers did use the time to criticize federal worker layoffs, funding cuts, and the country's position in global affairs.
Society and lead fulfilling lives, and all we're asking is for our elected officials to grant us basic dignity and to protect the services we need to continue living.
Lawmakers across the country have been faced with backlash during recent town hall meetings, including here in North Carolina. The CEO of the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina is talking about funding cuts to USDA. Amy Barrows says over the past few years, the food bank has been fortunate to receive money from the federal government through the USDA. They use the money to buy food from local farmers in North Carolina. That food, like fresh produce and eggs, is distributed directly to the community. Barrows says they now lost around $2 million in food purchase funding, with that program being canceled.
It's going to be a huge impact to neighbors and the foods that they're able to get from us. It's also going to be that huge impact to farmers. Hunger is worse than it's been in 20 years. Right now, our need actually went up by 100,000 people last year. So there's like over 500,000 people in our 34 counties who are worried about being able to have a healthy meal each day.
Barrows says the loss of funding means more dependence on donations. March is a match month. That means anyone who gives money to the food bank right now will double the impact because of donors who are matching all of the gifts coming in. A Wilson man is hoping you can save his life. Lee Underwood is a tennis coach at Barton College. He needs a kidney transplant. Underwood has been a type 1 diabetic since he was a child. In 2020, he survived colon cancer. A year later, though, he got sick again. This time, doctors told him he was in stage 5 kidney failure. He does dialysis for hours each day before heading into work.
Everybody knows me as a tennis coach, and if I died tomorrow, that's probably what I want to be remembered as. So I don't want to be remembered with this.
Underwood is on a transplant list along with about 90,000 other people. If he can find a living donor, he wouldn't need a spot on the list. To learn more about the donation process and to see if you can help, look for this story on WRAL.com under the Health tab. Spring is here, and that means basketball, bunnies, and even Beetlejuice. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan is here now to help you plan your weekend with Out and About's best bets. Kathy, good morning. Let's start off with Beetlejuice the musical. So fun.
We've got to talk about Beetlejuice. Okay, the musical based on Tim Burton's hit movie. It's at Durham Performing Arts Center through Sunday. Now, tickets are still available, including a few discounted tickets you can try and win through their digital lottery, and they're great seats, so definitely try that.
The Holi Hindu Festival of Colors is happening this weekend as well. Tell us where we can find those events.
Okay, on Saturday, NC State's going to host its Holi event, and that's happening starting at 2 p.m. at Stafford Commons. And that's going to be an exciting event. Also on Saturday, you got two options. You also got over town of Morrisville. They're celebrating over at Cedar Fork Community Center from noon to 3 p.m. Now, both celebrations are free to attend. Now, on Sunday, the Rookery in Hillsborough is also hosting a celebration from 1 to 4 p.m.
So this weekend, our temperatures will be perfect for anything outdoors. On Saturday, families can get out and enjoy some soccer.
It's going to be so much fun. Okay, North Carolina Courage, they're having their home opener at Wake Med Soccer Park. It's a great way to get out there with the family. Things kick off at 7 p.m. against the Seattle Reign. Tickets start at about $27.
All right. Well, Kathy, thank you. For more information on these stories, go to WRAL.com and search Out and About.